All right, today we're going to talk about what went down this morning in Geneva, where the Iranian negotiators signed with the P5+1 regarding a deal. Of course, there was an easing of sanctions against Iran and some funds given back. Iran had to agree to enrich at a certain level and roll back key aspects of their nuclear program. Now, of course, there's many out there that believe that Iran has the P5+1, and namely the United States, in their hip pocket. But the truth of the matter is Iran needed this deal as well, as much as anyone else did. After putting endless funds into the Syrian war, the sanctions were beginning to really take their toll. And even though these negotiations have been ongoing in secret for quite a while now, the recent developments that I should say really over the last couple of years as well, has drained Iran of much of their liquidity, and they simply needed the money. Now, Debkafile came out with an article just today. It says 7 loopholes favoring nuclear Iran in deals signed by the world powers. Now, as many of you have heard regarding what the president said about their Iran's nuclear program, that they have put in all the stops to prevent them from ever being able to create a nuclear weapon within the 6-month period. But Debkafile believes there are 7 loopholes that could circumvent that belief. And it says Debkafile's intelligence and military sources list 7 of the most glaring loopholes in the First Step Accord. Now, the first loophole that they bring is that not all of the facilities in Iran are being inspected. In fact, the only 2 that are really the 2 main ones are Fordo and Natanz, where they do have cameras in place and inspections will be regularly administered. But there are others that simply were neglected, and one of them being Parchin, which is somewhat of a secret nuclear site in which the IAEA will not be able to inspect. Now, number 2, it says secret nuclear locations under the heading possible military dimensions. The last IAEA reported tactic or noted since 2002, the agency has become increasingly concerned about the possible existence in Iran of undisclosed nuclear-related organizations, including activities related to the development of a payload for a missile. The watchdog has received information indicating activities relevant to the development of a nuclear explosive device. This was further corroborated by new information obtained since November of 2011. So this agreement has failed to address rumors of a secret location where payloads are being developed. And the next is dirty bombs. Iran doesn't need a full-scale nuclear bomb or missile warhead for attacking Israel. For decades, Tehran has been working on perfecting hundreds of dirty bombs as part of its nuclear program by adding plutonium or enriched uranium to conventional bombs. These weapons are easy to make and easy to use. In the hands of Hezbollah or other Shiite terrorist organizations in Syria or Iraq, for instance, they could be used to strike Israel without leaving a trail to Tehran. This peril, too, was ignored by the 6 powers in Geneva. And now number 4, which is rollback, they got listed, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to skip that one. I'm going to go right to number 5. It says, enrichment. Obama and Kerry said the New Deal does not recognize Iran's right to enrich uranium. They were contradicted by the Iranian president and senior negotiator, as well as Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. So what is the truth? If Iran won recognition for this right, it blows the bottom out of the non-proliferating treaty, because in no time all the signatories may start enriching uranium with permission from the big powers. Neither is there any point in making Iran join the NPT's additional protocol for SNAP inspections. Number 6 is centrifuges, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to skip that as well, and which is a leap to breakout. It says, for far from being static or in freeze, as the Americans claim, Iran is free to step up centrifuge production and boost its stock of 3.5% enriched uranium. thereby accumulating enough material to enhance its capacity for producing enough weapons-grade uranium to break through to a nuclear bomb rapidly enough to defy detection by the IAEA or Western intelligence until it's too late. And of course, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has warned that the deal is completely unacceptable and completely out of step with what really needs to be in place. And of course, we know that he hailed this as not a historical achievement, but he called it a historical mistake, and that Israel stood by its ability and its right to self-defense. Now the big question is is Israel going to attack Iran in the next 6 months and exercise its to self-defense? Well, I certainly don't disagree with their right to defend themselves and to destroy preemptively any enemy that poses itself in that respect. And certainly Iran takes pride in taking every opportunity to say that Israel will be destroyed in due time. I would think that alone would raise the eyebrows of the P5+1. But they seem to be all fairly at home with that happening month after month after month. But getting back to the question at hand, will Israel attack Iran in the next 6 months? Frankly, I don't see it. I think they have lost their opportunity to do so. But I wouldn't rule it out, and the reason why I wouldn't rule it out is because I really believe that there has to be something that is going to keep the United States from coming to the aid of Israel and giving Russia and their allies the confidence that the United States is going to stay out of this war that's coming, which is the war of Gog and Magog, Ezekiel 38 and 39. And frankly, I think if Israel were to attack Iran and to throw a huge monkey wrench into the negotiations, that the United States would certainly take exception with that move and may possibly throw them under the bus. So it would not shock me at all if indeed they did attack Iran for that particular reason in order to fulfill later prophecy. Now there's a second question as well. Will the United States and the P5, should I say +1, come to an agreement with Iran? And what I mean by an agreement, I mean a final status agreement. Right now this is more or less an interim agreement in which they're going by steps. And it's going to be very tough in order for that to take place, because anything of substantial benefit to Iran, from here on out, the president's going to have to come to Congress, and he's going to have a hard time getting it past Congress. And of course, Mr. Rouhani, he also has problems at home, where the Revolutionary Guard simply is not all that much on board with the negotiations with the United States. But Mr. Rouhani knows that he has to figure out a way to bring foreign investment into Iran if, in fact, the regime is going to survive. So on one hand, there has to be an agreement if, in fact, U.S. interests are going to be served. And number one, a war with Iran, that's one of the alternatives if, in fact, this negotiated agreement does fall through. And that would most definitely cause the price of oil to skyrocket, and that helps nobody in the world. So on the one hand, the United States desperately needs to have a peaceful Middle East and an Iran that is under control, but not necessarily an ally. And of course, Russia is using every opportunity to put a stick in the eye of this relationship because they simply don't want it to go down. But they also don't want to be seen as the country that stood in the way of Middle East, some type of Middle East peace agreement. But make no mistake, peace in the Middle East for Russia is bad business. And also, as you probably have noticed, that the price of oil and the price of gas has dropped substantially because of the fact that just recently it looks like a peace accord is in the making. And as I've said in the past, 50 to 80% of Russia's budget is paid for by oil money. So what you have here is the United States, who desperately needs to have peace, some type of peace with Iran, with on the other side with a Russia and a Islamic Revolutionary Guard, who really don't want to see Iran make peace with the United States. And also, let's not forget about the other players in the region, such as Israel, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and the like. They absolutely don't want to see an agreement that will go all the way to the end with Iran and the United States. I mean, even going to the point to where they are, it's scaring them to death. Are they afraid enough to attack Iran? I would have to say no, but again, there's nothing out of the question at this point, especially when prophecy is in the process of being fulfilled. So don't count out Israel attacking Iran for the sake that it may very well put them on a collision course with the United States if in fact they do put a monkey wrench in the negotiations by this attack. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens over the next 6 months and see where this does lead and all. But as I always like to close with the word that you could die today, and if you were, where would you spend eternity? I guess as I always say, 150,000 people will die today throughout the world. All will die with their sins paid for by the Lord Jesus Christ. He died for you, but you have to accept that free gift of salvation. And today is that day that you should make that decision. I just want to encourage you to make that decision today. And this is Terry Malone with the Calvary Prophecy Report.